Welcome to today's Milestone Construction Project Safety Orientation. This training is given to all new employees and subcontractors before beginning work on any Milestone job site. In this session, we'll introduce you to our company's general safety and security procedures, along with the specific job site rules you're expected to follow. You'll learn about key topics such as hazard communication, fall protection, emergency response, electrical safety, and the proper use of protective equipment. Before we get into the details, think of this orientation as your first walkthrough of the company, a way to familiarize yourself with the safety culture, the expectations, and the resources available to you. Our goal is simple: 0 incidents and 0 injuries. That begins with awareness, communication, and personal responsibility. By the end of this orientation, you should feel confident knowing how to recognize hazards, follow procedures, and contribute to a safe, productive work environment. Let's begin by reviewing the objectives of this training. This presentation is designed to reinforce essential job site safety practices and compliance standards. You will learn your rights and responsibilities under hazard communication, HazCom, how to protect yourself, coworkers, and the public, and the proper use of fall protection, PPE, and life-saving equipment. We'll cover emergency response procedures, electrical safety, safe operation of lifts and forklifts, fire protection and hot work requirements, and housekeeping best practices. Finally, you'll understand our enforcement policies, violation penalties, and the importance of maintaining a safe, organized work environment. By the end, you'll know what is expected of you and how to prevent accidents before they happen. Every Milestone job site operates under strict safety and security rules designed to protect employees, visitors, and the surrounding community. Following these rules is not optional. It's a condition of working safely and staying on the job. First and foremost, report all incidents, near misses, or unsafe conditions immediately to your supervisor. Even small issues can prevent future injuries when addressed early. Always wear the required personal protective equipment. A hard hat, safety glasses, high-visibility vest, and sturdy work boots are mandatory on all active sites. Drugs, alcohol, and horseplay are strictly prohibited. Only use tools and equipment that you've been trained and authorized to operate, and inspect them before each use. Follow all lockout/tagout procedures and maintain good housekeeping. Keep work areas clear of debris and ensure that walkways and exits remain open. When working at heights, always secure materials and tools to prevent them from falling, and obey all signage, barricades, and exclusion zones. Security is also a critical part of maintaining a safe job site. Keep all security doors closed and locked. Never prop them open, even briefly, and never lend out your badge, key, or access card. Report any suspicious activity, damaged security equipment, or unknown individuals immediately. You are expected to cooperate fully with any security investigations and to participate in all emergency drills or evacuations. By following these safety and security procedures, you help ensure a job site that's protected, professional, and compliant with both Milestone policy and federal safety standards. Next, we'll go over what to expect as you begin working on a Milestone project and how our safety culture starts with orientation and personal responsibility. Before any work begins, every employee and subcontractor is required to complete this safety orientation in full. All attendees must remain for the entire session. Partial attendance is not acceptable, as each section contains critical information about your responsibilities on the job site. This orientation outlines the mandatory safety standards and expectations that apply to all Milestone projects. Our commitment is to a zero-incident culture, meaning that every injury, accident, and near miss can be prevented through proper planning, training, and communication. Your role in this process is vital. You're expected to follow all company and site-specific procedures, participate in safety meetings, and speak up if you observe an unsafe condition. Remember, safety is everyone's job. From management to new hires, we all share responsibility for keeping the site safe. As you progress through this training, think about how each policy applies to your work. The more familiar you are with Milestone safety requirements, the more effectively you'll be able to identify hazards, make smart decisions, and protect both yourself and your crew. Next, we'll review your hazard communication rights and responsibilities, including how to safely handle and report hazardous materials on the job. Each year, thousands of workers are seriously injured or killed in the workplace, often because they were unaware of the hazards around them. According to OSHA, roughly 4,500 employees die each year from workplace injuries, and about 1.3 million workers suffer non-fatal injuries that result in days away from work. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that employees with only 1 to 5 years of experience account for nearly 37% of all workplace injuries and illnesses, a higher rate than any other group. Why do you think that is? It's often because new or less experienced workers may not yet recognize potential hazards or may underestimate the importance of following every safety procedure. That's why orientations like this one are so important. One of the key safety areas you must understand from day one is hazard communication, or HazCom. This program ensures that every employee has the right to know about the chemical hazards they may encounter at work. Before using any chemical, you must be trained on its safe handling, potential hazards, and emergency procedures. You're entitled to review the safety data sheets, or SDS, for every chemical used on site. These documents explain how to store, handle, and dispose of substances safely, as well as what to do in the event of a spill or exposure. Subcontractors are required to submit a full chemical inventory and all SDS documents 1 week before bringing any materials onto the site. In some cases, safer alternatives may be required, and certain chemicals may be restricted or prohibited altogether. Always plan ahead, follow all disposal and storage requirements, and report any spills or unsafe conditions immediately. If you're ever uncertain about a chemical or procedure, ask your supervisor. Never assume, and never take chances when it comes to your health and safety. Hazard communication is an ongoing responsibility. It's not just about reading labels or completing training once. It's about maintaining awareness and taking action whenever something looks uncertain or unsafe. Always plan ahead before working with any chemical. Know where materials are stored, what the hazards are, and what protective equipment is required before you start. Have a response plan ready. Identify the location of eye wash stations, spill kits, and emergency equipment before you begin work. If a spill occurs, report it immediately to your supervisor or safety supervisor. Only trained and authorized personnel are permitted to clean up chemical spills. Never attempt to clean a spill yourself unless you have received specific training and the proper equipment to do so. OSHA has very strict rules for chemical disposal. If your job involves handling or disposing of hazardous substances, you'll receive specialized training to do so safely. If you have not been trained, do not attempt disposal. Instead, notify your supervisor and allow authorized personnel to handle it. Whenever you have questions about a chemical, container label, or safety data sheet, ask your supervisor or the site's safety representative. Never guess when it comes to hazardous materials. Proper chemical management is everyone's responsibility. When you take time to plan, communicate, and follow procedures, you protect yourself, your coworkers, and the environment, and you help maintain a safe, compliant job site. Next, we'll move into fall protection, understanding how to plan, prevent, and protect yourself from one of the most serious hazards in construction. Falls remain one of the leading causes of death and serious injury in construction, but they are also among the most preventable. Every employee working at 6 feet or higher must use proper fall protection. At Milestone, we emphasize a simple but powerful concept: plan, plan, plan. Before any work begins, evaluate where fall hazards exist and determine how those risks will be controlled. Prevent the fall first. Install guardrails, covers, or warning lines whenever possible before relying on harnesses and lanyards. All fall protection equipment must be inspected daily before use, and any defective or damaged gear must be removed from service immediately. Coordinate with your supervisor or competent person to ensure your fall protection system is properly selected and anchored. Always verify that your anchor point can support at least 5,000 pounds per person attached. When in doubt, stop and ask for help. A competent person must be present whenever fall protection systems are in use, and no one should work at heights without that oversight. Remember, fall protection isn't just a harness, it's a complete system of planning, prevention, and protection. Take the time to think through your setup, use your equipment correctly, and never cut corners. The few seconds it takes to double-check your gear could prevent a life-changing injury or even save your life. Next, we'll review electrical hazards, including how to recognize unsafe conditions, use the right equipment, and prevent electrical shocks or fires on the job. Electrical hazards are present in every workplace, and construction sites carry an even higher level of risk due to temporary wiring, power tools, and changing work conditions. High voltages are used on site, so it's critical to follow safe practices every time you plug in or operate electrical equipment. Here are some common-sense do's of electrical safety. Use only equipment and extension cords that are rated for construction use. Your cords must be at least 12 gauge and in good condition. Never use lightweight or residential cords on the job. Always use plugs that fit the outlet. Never force or alter a plug to make it fit, and never remove the grounding prong from a 3-prong plug. Check wires and insulation regularly for cuts, cracks, or exposed metal before using any tool or cord. Make sure all electrical connections are tight and secure. Loose connections can lead to arcing, fires, or electric shock. Keep flammable materials and combustibles away from outlets and power sources. Even a small spark can ignite a fire. Always keep clear access to electrical panels, junction boxes, and disconnect switches. These must never be blocked by materials or equipment. Use ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, at the power source for all temporary wiring and outdoor operations. GFCIs protect you from deadly electrical shock by shutting off the circuit when a fault occurs. Always inspect your cords, tools, and equipment daily, and tag out anything defective until it can be repaired or replaced. When handled properly, electricity is a safe and powerful tool, but one mistake can have devastating consequences. Always respect the power of electricity, stay alert, and follow these do's every time you work with energized equipment. Next, we'll go over the don'ts of electrical safety, what to avoid to keep yourself and others safe on the job site. Just as there are safe practices to follow around electricity, there are also clear rules for what not to do. Ignoring these simple precautions can lead to serious shocks, burns, fires, or even fatalities. Here are the key don'ts of electrical safety on all Milestone projects. Do not overload electrical outlets or power strips. Overloading circuits can cause overheating and fires. Do not fasten or secure cords using staples, nails, or any metal object that could pierce the insulation. This can energize nearby materials or surfaces. Never run extension cords through water, puddles, or wet areas, and don't place them where they can be crushed or damaged by traffic or equipment. Do not touch cords, plugs, or electrical tools with wet hands. Water and electricity are a deadly combination. Do not use damaged cords with exposed wires, broken insulation, or missing grounding prongs. These should be immediately removed from service and tagged for repair or replacement. Do not use ungrounded tools, cords, or equipment. Every device should have a proper ground connection to safely redirect electrical current in case of a fault. Also, never modify or defeat electrical safety devices, and never bypass a ground fault circuit interrupter or circuit breaker. These protections exist to save lives. Finally, remember that only qualified electricians or trained maintenance personnel are permitted to perform electrical repairs or installations. If you find a damaged outlet, extension cord, or junction box, report it immediately and keep others clear of the area until it's fixed. Electricity doesn't give second chances. Respecting these rules ensures everyone goes home safely. Next, we'll cover boom, scissor, and forklift safety, understanding how to inspect, operate, and protect yourself when using powered industrial equipment. Boom lifts, scissor lifts, and forklifts are some of the most useful tools on a job site, but they also present serious hazards when not used properly. Every operator must be trained, authorized, and competent before using this equipment. Before each shift, the equipment must be inspected by a competent person. Supporting surfaces such as ground, floors, or roofs must be pre-inspected to ensure they can handle the equipment load safely. Each piece of equipment should be tagged to confirm it has passed inspection before use. When using aerial lifts such as boom or scissor lifts, always wear a full body harness and connect to a manufacturer-approved anchor point. Retractable lifelines are required for tie-off inside boom lifts. Never use the lift itself to hoist materials or people who are not properly secured. Pay attention to capacity limits and lift charts. Never exceed the rated load, and always maintain a stable base. Be aware of alarms, warning lights, and other safety devices, and stop work immediately if the equipment malfunctions. Barricade the area below when lifting overhead to protect others from falling objects or debris. Keep workers and materials clear of the lift's swing radius, and never move the lift while elevated unless the manufacturer specifically allows it. Always read and follow the manufacturer's operating manual and safety decals on the equipment. Only use attachments or accessories that are manufacturer approved. When operated safely, aerial lifts and forklifts can make work faster and more efficient, but when misused, they can cause serious injuries or fatalities. Think ahead, inspect your equipment, and never operate without authorization or training. Next, we'll review protective and life-saving equipment, the personal gear designed to keep you safe from common job site hazards. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, is one of the most important lines of defense against workplace injury. At Milestone, 100% compliance with PPE requirements is mandatory. No exceptions. Required PPE must be worn at all times. PPE and protective clothing are necessary for certain jobs and in designated areas, such as warehouses, forklift zones, or delivery docks, even if you're only passing through. It takes just 1 second for an object to fall or a hazard to occur. Always inspect your PPE before each use. Look for cracks, tears, worn straps, or any other defects that could affect protection. PPE must fit properly and cover the area it's designed to protect. If your equipment doesn't fit correctly or feels uncomfortable, replace or adjust it before beginning work. Maintain your PPE according to company schedules and procedures, and store it properly when not in use to prevent contamination or damage. Remember, PPE is only effective when it's used correctly and consistently. Wearing it just some of the time isn't enough. Every task, every shift, every job site requires full compliance. Next, we'll continue with specific PPE standards, including hard hats, eye protection, footwear, and high-visibility gear, and how each one helps protect you from serious injury. Personal protective equipment only works when it's used properly, maintained correctly, and paired with safe behavior. On all Milestone projects, hard hats meeting ANSI Z89.1 standards are required in construction areas. Eye protection must meet ANSI Z87.1 standards and include side shields. Fall protection systems, including harnesses and lanyards, must be ANSI Z359 rated for any work at 6 feet or higher. Use gloves that are suited to the task, whether for cut protection, chemical handling, or heat exposure. Footwear must be sturdy, slip-resistant, and provide ankle support to reduce the risk of sprains and punctures. When exposed to moving vehicles or heavy equipment, wear ANSI Class 2 or 3 high-visibility garments so you remain visible at all times. Avoid loose clothing or jewelry that can become caught in machinery or rotating equipment. Always pay attention to posted safety signs and tags, including lockout and tagout warnings, confined space notices, and no smoking areas. Never remove or tamper with locks or tags on machinery. These devices exist to prevent accidental activation and protect workers performing maintenance or repairs. Never take shortcuts or skip inspections and startup procedures. Safety steps are built into your daily routine for a reason, to prevent injuries before they happen. Horseplay or careless behavior is not tolerated on any Milestone job site. Finally, always trust your instincts. If something looks unsafe or feels wrong, stop immediately and get clarification before proceeding. A brief pause to reassess is far better than a lifetime of regret. Consistent awareness, the right equipment, and responsible actions protect not only you but everyone working around you. Next, we'll continue with protective and life-saving equipment to discuss how to properly care for, inspect, and store your PPE to keep it effective. At Milestone, personal protective equipment must be worn at all times. It's not optional or task-dependent. The type of PPE you wear will depend on your specific job duties and the area you're working in. Certain work zones, such as warehouses, forklift areas, and delivery docks, require PPE at all times, even if you're only passing through. An accident can happen in a split second, so always stay protected. Before each use, inspect your PPE carefully. Check for damage, wear, or any signs that it may no longer provide full protection. Damaged or worn-out PPE should be replaced immediately. Proper fit is essential. Your PPE should completely cover the areas it's meant to protect and allow you to move and work comfortably. Ill-fitting PPE can limit mobility or leave you exposed to hazards. Take care of your equipment by maintaining it according to company schedules and keeping it clean and in good condition. When your shift ends, store your PPE properly in designated areas to prevent damage, contamination, or loss. Remember, PPE is your last line of defense. It only works if you wear it correctly and keep it in good condition every single day. Next, we'll shift focus to protection of the public, and how to ensure that safety extends beyond the job site to the community and environment around you. The goal of Milestone Construction's safety policy is to ensure an accident-free workplace while maintaining a high level of productivity and professionalism. Safety and efficiency go hand in hand. When a site is well organized and hazards are controlled, work progresses smoothly and safely. Every employee is responsible for helping achieve that goal. Continue to participate in all required safety training sessions, and apply what you learn on the job every day. Report any hazards or unsafe conditions you see immediately. Don't wait for someone else to take care of the issue. If an incident or near miss occurs, it must also be reported. These reports allow us to investigate, identify the root cause, and correct the hazard before it can lead to a serious injury. If you're ever unsure how to proceed safely, ask for guidance before starting. Taking a moment to clarify expectations can prevent an accident. Milestone also supports a safety incentive program that recognizes positive behavior and the achievement of safety goals. At the same time, our progressive discipline policy addresses reckless or unsafe actions to ensure accountability. Both programs are designed to reinforce safe habits and maintain consistent performance across all job sites. Public safety is a major part of this commitment. Keep all job site perimeters secure. Fencing, gates, and signage must remain intact and clearly visible. Report any damage or unauthorized access right away. Protect pedestrians and nearby property by maintaining clear detour routes and securing overhead areas with tow boards, nets, or covers to prevent falling objects. Control dust, noise, and runoff through approved methods, and prevent debris or hazardous materials from leaving the site. These practices protect the public, the environment, and Milestone's reputation as a responsible contractor. Finally, remember that your awareness extends beyond the job site fence. Every action you take contributes to a safer community and a stronger safety culture company-wide. Next, we'll move into housekeeping, and how maintaining a clean, organized worksite supports safety, quality, and overall job performance. Good housekeeping is more than keeping the job site clean. It's one of the most important steps in preventing accidents and maintaining a productive, professional work environment. At Milestone, everyone is responsible for maintaining order and cleanliness on the job. Subcontractors may be backcharged if cleanup is neglected, so it's in everyone's best interest to stay organized and ahead of debris. Effective housekeeping helps prevent slips, trips, and falls, reduces fire hazards, and makes equipment easier to maintain. It also ensures that emergency exits, walkways, and access routes remain open and unobstructed at all times. Stay alert for safety hazards at all times. Vigilance is key to staying safe. Don't get complacent and ignore wet spots, frayed wires, open drawers, or smoking equipment. These are small issues that can quickly escalate into serious incidents. If you encounter a hazard you're authorized and qualified to fix, such as cleaning up a spill, closing a cabinet drawer, or picking up tools or debris blocking a walkway, take immediate action. If the hazard is beyond your authority or training, such as a chemical spill, a damaged electrical cord, or malfunctioning equipment, report it immediately to your supervisor or safety contact. We also encourage proactive thinking. If you notice something that isn't a hazard now but could become one, suggest a change to prevent it. Milestone values employee feedback and welcomes safety improvement ideas through the company's safety suggestion form. Remember, good housekeeping isn't just about appearances. It's about awareness, responsibility, and teamwork. A clean and organized site reflects a safe and efficient operation. Next, we'll move on to hot work, the procedures and precautions required for any task that produces heat, sparks, or open flames. Hot work includes any operation that produces heat, sparks, or open flame, such as welding, cutting, grinding, or torching. These tasks present serious fire and explosion hazards if not properly controlled. Before beginning any hot work, a valid hot work permit must be obtained. Permits are required for all indoor or enclosed spark-producing work and must be issued and displayed at the work area. Work may not begin until the permit is active and all conditions are met. Follow all safety warning signs and postings in the area, including locks and tags on equipment, no smoking notices, and confined space restrictions. Never remove or tamper with a lock or tag, and always wear the appropriate protective equipment when performing or working near hot work. Do not take shortcuts. Never skip a daily inspection, bypass a safety check, or rush through a procedure. Hot work safety depends on preparation, from inspecting your tools and equipment to confirming that combustible materials have been cleared or protected. Maintain a fire extinguisher within 25 feet of the hot work area, and ensure that a trained fire watch is present during the operation and for at least 60 minutes after completion, or longer if required by the owner or permit conditions. Do not engage in horseplay or careless behavior at any time, especially around open flame or energized equipment. A single distraction or spark can cause severe injury or major property damage. Always use common sense and good judgment. If something doesn't look or feel right, such as unexpected smoke, odors, or equipment issues, stop immediately and check with your supervisor before proceeding. When performed safely, hot work can be completed without incident. Planning, attention to detail, and strict adherence to procedures are the keys to preventing fires and keeping everyone safe. Next, we'll discuss hot work permits in greater detail, including the specific requirements and responsibilities for anyone performing or authorizing hot work. Hot work permits are required for any task that generates heat, sparks, or open flame, such as welding, cutting, grinding, soldering, or torching. These permits are essential for preventing fires and ensuring that all precautions are taken before work begins. A hot work permit must be requested, approved, and posted before any work starts. Only authorized personnel can issue a permit, and it must remain visible at the work area for the entire duration of the task. The permit outlines the protective measures that must be in place, such as removing flammable materials, using fire-resistant shields, or sealing openings where sparks could escape. A designated fire watch must be present during all hot work operations. The fire watch is responsible for monitoring the area for sparks, smoke, or heat and for responding immediately if a fire occurs. The fire watch must stay on duty for at least 60 minutes after the hot work is finished, or longer if required by company policy or the project owner. Never begin hot work without a valid permit and an active fire watch in place. If site conditions change, such as new materials, altered ventilation, or additional personnel, stop and have the permit reviewed before continuing. Keep a properly charged fire extinguisher within 25 feet of your work area and know how to use it. Maintain a clean area, free of unnecessary tools or debris, and make sure there is a clear path for emergency response if needed. The hot work permit process is not just a formality. Each step and control listed on that permit was developed from past incidents and lessons learned. Follow every instruction carefully to prevent injuries and protect everyone on site. Next, we'll move into fire protection and review how to recognize fire hazards and respond effectively in the event of an emergency. Fire prevention begins with awareness. You must understand how to identify and control potential fire hazards in every area of your work environment, whether it's an office, a construction site, or a maintenance shop. Office areas often contain combustible materials such as paper, cardboard, and packaging. These items can easily ignite when exposed to heat from office equipment, space heaters, or electrical devices. Dispose of paper waste promptly, keep all combustibles away from hot surfaces, and follow company procedures for smoking. Smoking is allowed only in designated areas, and no smoking rules must always be respected. Electrical hazards are another major cause of workplace fires. These include overloaded outlets, frayed or damaged cords, malfunctioning tools or machines, and the improper use of extension cords. Always use cords and equipment that are rated for the electrical load required. Do not overload power strips or connect multiple extension cords together, and remove any damaged wiring from service immediately. Chemical hazards must also be handled with care. Flammable liquids such as oil, gasoline, kerosene, and many solvents can ignite easily and spread fire quickly. Compressed flammable gases are especially dangerous because many have flashpoints below room temperature, meaning they can ignite without an open flame. If you handle or work near these substances, you will receive specific training on their proper storage, labeling, and use. Keeping the work environment clean, organized, and compliant with company procedures reduces the risk of fire and helps everyone stay safe. Fire prevention depends on daily habits, proper housekeeping, safe electrical practices, and respect for warning signs and storage requirements. Next, we'll review fire response procedures, including the race and pass methods, and how to act quickly and safely if a fire occurs. If a fire occurs, staying calm and knowing what to do can make the difference between a controlled situation and a serious emergency. At Milestone, we follow the race method to guide our fire response actions. The first step is rescue. If it is safe to do so, stop what you are doing and remove anyone in immediate danger. Never put yourself at unnecessary risk, only assist others if you can do so safely. Next is alarm. Activate the nearest fire alarm pull station, call 911, and notify your supervisor or site emergency contact right away. Provide clear information about the fire's location, what is burning, and whether anyone is injured or trapped. The third step is contain. Close doors and windows as you evacuate to help limit the spread of smoke and flames. Do not lock doors behind you, and never block exits or stairways. The final step is extinguish. Only attempt to put out the fire if it is small, contained, and you have been trained to use a fire extinguisher. If there is any doubt, evacuate immediately and let emergency responders handle the situation. Remember, your safety comes first. Fires can double in size every 30 seconds, so quick and calm action is essential. Focus on rescuing people, sounding the alarm, containing the fire, and evacuating to safety. Next, we'll discuss how to use a fire extinguisher correctly by following the PASS method. When a fire occurs, knowing how to use a fire extinguisher can help stop a small fire before it grows out of control. However, you should only attempt to extinguish a fire if it is small, contained, and you have a clear path to exit safely. Always know where the nearest fire extinguisher is located in your work area. Take a moment at the start of each shift to note its position, even if you're only working in that location temporarily. Quick access is critical in an emergency. To operate a fire extinguisher safely, remember the word PASS. P. Pull the pin. This breaks the seal and prepares the extinguisher for use. Aim the hose at the base of the fire. Extinguishing the source of the flames is more effective than spraying the smoke or fire above it. S. Squeeze the trigger slowly and evenly to release the extinguishing agent. S. Sweep the hose from side to side across the base of the fire until it is out. Keep a low stance, stay several feet away from the flames, and always position yourself with a clear escape route behind you. If the fire does not go out immediately or begins to spread, evacuate at once and let trained emergency personnel take over. Fire extinguishers are a first response tool, not a replacement for professional firefighting. Your safety is the priority. Know your surroundings, act quickly, and never take unnecessary risks. Next, we'll move into emergency response protocols, covering what to do in case of accidents, evacuations, and other on-site emergencies. Emergencies can happen without warning, which is why it's essential to know exactly what to do and who to contact if something goes wrong. At Milestone, every employee plays a role in keeping the worksite organized, safe, and ready to respond. If an accident or incident occurs, report it immediately to your supervisor or the designated safety contact. Follow all safety instructions and established emergency procedures without delay. Quick reporting allows us to take the right action, prevent further harm, and identify what caused the problem so it doesn't happen again. Keep all exits and egress paths clear at all times. Never block or store materials in hallways or near emergency doors. Store and handle flammable materials safely, and always maintain clean, organized work areas so evacuation routes stay accessible. In the event of an evacuation, go directly to your assigned muster point and remain there until an all-clear is given. Do not re-enter the site until authorized personnel confirm it is safe to do so. Company safety information is always available to you. Safety bulletin boards are located inside the project trailer. You'll find the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, safety poster, updates on company safety goals, and notices about upcoming programs or training sessions. Your site safety supervisor serves as your main safety resource. Contact the super whenever you have safety questions, concerns, or suggestions for improving safety performance. Milestone Safety Committee meets regularly to review incidents, identify improvements, and update our policies. You are encouraged to share safety topics or concerns with any committee member so they can be added to the agenda. Specific safety information, including chemical lists and material safety data sheets, will be discussed in later sections of this training. However, you can always request details or clarification from your supervisor or safety representative at any time. Next, we'll go over evacuation procedures, what to do, where to go, and how to stay accounted for during an emergency event. There are several reasons why we may need to evacuate a worksite, fire, chemical spills, severe weather, or other emergencies. In every case, it's critical to stay calm and follow company evacuation procedures exactly as you were trained. The evacuation signal for Milestone job sites is 5 long blasts of the air horn. When you hear this signal, stop what you're doing immediately and prepare to evacuate. Listen carefully for any additional instructions that may be given over the radio, public address system, or directly from your supervisor. If it's safe to do so, shut down the equipment or tools in your area using the designated emergency stop controls. This helps prevent further hazards during the evacuation. Follow the nearest safe exit route. Do not use elevators under any circumstances. If your primary route is blocked by smoke, fire, or debris, switch to the next nearest exit. Move calmly, stay alert, and watch for others who may need assistance. Proceed directly to your designated assembly or muster area. Walk, don't run, and keep pathways clear for others. When you arrive, report to the supervisor or foreman in charge so that everyone can be accounted for quickly and accurately. Remain in the assembly area until the all-clear is given by authorized personnel. Do not leave the site or re-enter the facility until you are instructed that it is safe to do so. Evacuations rely on organization, communication, and teamwork. Knowing your route and responding quickly can save lives, yours and those around you. Next, we'll review first aid procedures, including how to assess a situation, call for help, and provide basic care while waiting for emergency responders. When a medical emergency occurs on the job, your first priority is to stay calm and act quickly. Knowing what to do in those first few minutes can make all the difference. Before offering help, make sure the scene is safe. Do not enter an area where you could be exposed to hazards such as live electricity, moving equipment, or chemicals. Check for life-threatening injuries such as heavy bleeding or signs of shock, and then assess the ABCs: airway, breathing, and circulation. For the airway, tilt the person's head back slightly to open it. Check for breathing by looking for chest movement or listening for air from the mouth or nose. Then check circulation by feeling for a pulse at the wrist or neck. If the person is not breathing or has no pulse, begin cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or CPR, only if you are trained and certified to perform it. If you are not, immediately call for someone nearby who is certified and notify emergency medical responders. If the injured person is stable, look for other medical issues or injuries. Check their vital signs, observe for dizziness or confusion, and ask about any pre-existing medical conditions, such as diabetes, heart problems, or prescribed medications. This information can help emergency responders provide proper care. Follow company procedures for contacting medical assistance. Emergency contact numbers should be clearly posted at the site, and all employees must know how to reach help quickly. Always protect yourself from potential exposure to blood-borne pathogens such as hepatitis and HIV. Use universal precautions. That means wearing disposable gloves and using protective barriers from the first aid kit before touching blood or other bodily fluids. Even in a stressful situation, calm action, communication, and awareness can prevent additional harm and save a life. Next, we'll review enforcement of the safety policy, explaining how Milestone's progressive discipline system and finding schedule help maintain a consistent, safe work environment for everyone. Milestone's safety policies are in place to protect every person on site, and compliance is not optional. These rules exist because lives depend on them. Our company follows a progressive discipline system to ensure accountability and consistent safety performance across all projects. The system works as follows. A first violation results in a verbal warning and coaching. A second violation leads to a written warning and a safety meeting. A third violation may result in temporary removal from the project and mandatory retraining. A fourth violation can result in permanent removal from the job site and potential contract action against the subcontractor. Safety enforcement isn't about punishment, it's about prevention. Everyone has the right to work in an environment where hazards are identified, controlled, and corrected quickly. To avoid violations, always observe safety warning signs and postings. This includes lockout and tagout devices, no smoking signs, and confined space warnings. Never remove or tamper with locks or tags on equipment. Those devices are there to protect workers performing maintenance or repair. Follow all established safety procedures, including wearing the proper personal protective equipment in designated areas. Do not take shortcuts such as skipping inspections, bypassing startup checks, or ignoring daily safety protocols. These steps exist because they prevent accidents. Horseplay and careless behavior are strictly prohibited. Tossing tools, running, or joking around on active work sites creates unnecessary risk and undermines the safety culture Milestone expects from every worker. Use your best judgment and common sense. If something doesn't look right, sound right, or feel right, stop and speak with your supervisor before continuing. It's always better to pause for clarification than to proceed into a dangerous situation. Our safety incentive program recognizes employees and subcontractors who demonstrate consistent safe behavior and help achieve safety goals. By working together, communicating clearly, and following established procedures, we can maintain a safe, professional, and incident-free workplace. Next, we'll move into the violation fining schedule, which outlines the financial penalties associated with specific unsafe acts or conditions. In addition to our progressive discipline policy, Milestone enforces a violation fining schedule for serious or repeated safety infractions. These fines are designed to emphasize accountability and ensure that safety policies are taken seriously by every subcontractor and employee. Minor violations may result in fines ranging from $500 to $2,500. These include issues such as missing or improperly used personal protective equipment, poor housekeeping, incomplete paperwork, minor tool defects, or improper material storage. Serious violations carry penalties of $1,000 to $5,000. These include missing fall protection, unsafe excavation or trenching practices, lockout and tagout failures, confined space violations, and willful disregard of established safety procedures. Fines are issued only after a full review of the incident and its severity. Repeat offenses or willful violations can lead to suspension or permanent removal from the job site. The goal of this policy is not to punish but to prevent. When workers understand the real consequences of unsafe acts, they're more likely to stay alert and follow procedures correctly. To avoid fines or disciplinary action, always observe safety warning signs and postings, including locks and tags on equipment, no smoking notices, and confined space signage. Never tamper with or remove a lock or tag from machinery. Follow all company safety procedures, wear required protective equipment in designated areas, and complete your daily inspections and startup procedures without taking shortcuts. Horseplay, such as tossing tools or racing equipment, is strictly prohibited. These actions not only violate company policy but also put you and your coworkers at serious risk. Use common sense at all times. If a situation seems unsafe, stop immediately and check with your supervisor before proceeding. It only takes a moment to verify, but that moment could prevent an accident, an injury, or a costly violation. By taking responsibility for your actions and staying alert, you help maintain a safe, compliant, and productive work environment for everyone on site. Next, we'll finish with key points to remember, summarizing the essential takeaways from this orientation and how they apply to your daily work. As we wrap up this orientation, let's review the key points to remember from Milestone's safety program. Safety begins with awareness and personal responsibility. Always stay alert, follow procedures, and look for hazards before they cause harm. Everyone on site, from management to labor, plays a role in maintaining a safe work environment. Follow company safety requirements at all times. Use the proper personal protective equipment for your task, follow lockout and tagout procedures, respect warning signs and barriers, and never take shortcuts. Report all hazards, unsafe conditions, incidents, and near misses immediately. Communication is critical for preventing accidents. When in doubt, stop and ask questions before proceeding. It's always better to pause and verify than to rush into a dangerous situation. Respond safely and calmly in emergencies. Know your evacuation routes, muster points, and emergency contacts. Participate in all safety drills and training sessions so you're prepared to act when it matters most. Remember, OSHA regulations are the minimum standard. Milestone expects every worker to go beyond compliance, to take ownership of safety and help protect one another. If something doesn't look or feel right, speak up. Report it, check it out, and take corrective action. Your decision to stop and think could prevent an injury or save a life.
Before you begin any task on a Milestone project, remember this: your safety decisions matter. If something doesn't feel safe, stop immediately. Trust your instincts. They're often your first and best line of defense. And if you're unsure how to correct a hazard, ask for help. No one is expected to have all the answers, but everyone is expected to speak up. Take a moment to think through the safety rules and how they apply to the job in front of you. A quick pause to reassess your surroundings, your equipment, and your plan can make all the difference. We all play a role in helping reduce incidents, injuries, and worst-case outcomes. That means looking out not only for yourself, but for the people working around you. Use the buddy rule. Check on each other, communicate, and step in when something doesn't seem right. Often, taking just a minute or two can lead to a safer, smarter solution. That small investment of time can prevent a mistake, stop an injury, and protect someone's future. And above all, always remember the people who depend on you, your family, your friends, your coworkers, and your community. Your safety affects more than just you. Thank you for your attention today.